Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me for a very important topic, finding the right words, how to have the talk. I am Cynthia Perthews and I am an elder care strategist and owner of Senior Care Authority in New York and Southwest Florida. Today, I'm going to walk you through a fairly comprehensive laundry list of pointers to help you plan and successfully talk to your loved one when they need more care, either in the home or in assisted living. My team helps older people find a safe and healthy living option when they are ready to find a community that caters to their specific wants and needs. We also work with families that want their loved one to stay home, but need help with all the required resources. We work with people in the 5 boroughs of New York City and the southwest coast of Florida. We work with a nationwide network and can help support life and living choices anywhere in the United States and Canada. For those of you that have heard my presentations before, you know that I like to start with a musical reference. My last presentation used the Beatles. Today, my reference is Meghan Trainor. One of my team members reminded me that she was 66 years old and had never heard of Meghan Trainor. However, my 35-year-old son suggested this one for me. So, as a nod to the Generation X, I will tell you about Meghan. She is 37 and has won a Grammy. Her most popular songs are All About That Bass and These Lips Are Moving. She is a judge on The Voice in the UK. Whoever she is, I sing along very loudly to the chorus of this song. It's all about the word no. I hope that when you are having a difficult conversation with your loved one, the memory of these words will bring a smile to your face. My name is no. My sign is no. My number is no. You need to let it go. How many of you have heard this? Are you trying to help someone who needs more care make the decision to move out of their home or bring help in? Helping an older person choose to move from their home or accept in-home care is never easy. The facts on this slide will hopefully help you understand that you are not alone. That doesn't mean that you do not feel alone. I cannot count the number of times I had the moving conversation with my father during his battle with Alzheimer's. I can, however, count the number of times I had the conversation with my mother before she died. Exactly 2. Neither time was pleasant, and neither time ended up the way that I wanted it. It ended the way my mother wanted it, but that does not mean that it was what was best for her or anyone else. I did not have the tools or the time to have the conversation in a productive manner. I am here to give you the tools and to help you find the time to have a successful outcome. Staying at home or staying alone is not always the best or healthiest option. A spouse may have died or may have developed a chronic illness. A family caregiver may have to relocate. There may have been a significant change in health status. There may have been a significant change in mental or cognitive health. The current location may not be adapted for mobility limitations. We will look at a couple of case studies during our time today. You will probably see familiar situations in both of them. We won't solve the issues of each of these studies, but I want you to keep them in mind as we walk through the presentation. Michael and Sue were high school sweethearts and have been married 75 years. They are both in their 90s. They've lived in the same home for the past 45 years. They have raised 3 children and have numerous grandchildren and great-grandchildren. 2 of the adult children live over 500 miles away in separate cities, but they visit on holidays. One adult child lives 20 miles away and is the power of attorney and the go-to support system. All 3 children and their spouses have full-time careers and other family responsibilities. In the past year, there have been several causes for concern. Michael has been falling periodically during the night when he gets up to use the bathroom. The 3 steps up to the front door and the staircase to the bedroom have been hard to navigate. Sue's blood pressure has not been stable and she has been lightheaded. She does not remember to take her medicine. There is always outdated food in the refrigerator, and Michael and Sue do not seem to be eating well. Sue has had repeated UTIs. They have lost touch with many of their friends because of their health and mobility issues. There are several words that we want to keep top of mind in this situation: respect, love, honor, wisdom, patience. Today, we will go through the different steps to prepare for the conversation. It is important that you try to work through each of these steps. Be prepared to repeat and modify everything we talk about along the way. So, first, let's identify the players. Who is the decision maker? Who can be the calmest to lead the discussion? Who will be the wild card? Sort out the family dynamics. A recent study shows that 2/3 of caregivers were women. Traditionally, the oldest daughter leads this process. Hopefully, your entire family can make these decisions and be involved and supportive. What are the challenges? Get these all on paper and talk through them. Your challenges may not be your parents' challenges and may not be your brother's challenges. Try to make sure that all parties have an opportunity to speak and are shown respect. Commit that everyone is listening and only one person is speaking at a time. If the discussions get heated, take a break. Does your loved one have an unrealistic understanding of the situation? Do they have fears about moving that are unfounded? This slide speaks to some of the myths about assisted living. And this slide speaks about the truths around some of these myths. Try to find some facts and figures for all of the challenges and objections. Remember that there are worse things than playing bingo all day. There's usually a healthy amount of wagering going on during these games. If you do not like the food, join the food committee. If you don't like the activities, join the activity committee. If you don't like the fill in the blank, join the residence council. And remember, there is usually an entertaining happy hour that takes place every afternoon. Gather the information and build a table of both sides of the story. Remember, this is not for a presentation to your loved one. You're not going to do a PowerPoint, but it's so that you can have thought through everything and are prepared to have the conversation. Think about yourself. What makes you, as they say, hangry? Hunger? Lack of sleep? Loud noise? A lot of people? Make sure that you make a plan for a discussion. Maybe it works to have many small conversations over lunch or in the car. Dig in to your self-awareness to strategize. It never hurts to have backups. Elder strategists are trained at facilitating these meetings. They will charge for this service, but it can be invaluable to have an outsider work through the situation with the family. Financial and legal professionals bring facts and figures to the table. Clergy and physicians are usually respected and listened to. Friends and extended family can provide needed support. Practice these phrases. Make sure they do not sound canned, but sincere. Put your loved one's feelings first. I am worried about you. I want you to be safe. I want you to enjoy your life. I think this slide is self-explanatory. Remember that the entire conversation and situation is surrounded by, while unspoken, the difficult topic of mortality. As we talked about earlier, small conversations work best. I know this sounds like you are discussing things with your teenager, but remember that this person is more of an adult. However, some of these strategies work for all difficult conversations. Talk about it as often as you can before there is a crisis. Wait for a teachable moment. Someone else has fallen. You see an article in the newspaper. Please remember that you cannot force an adult to do anything. The only legal way to force someone is to go through guardianship, which is a long and expensive process. The power of attorney does not give you the right to force your loved one into a community. Do not be bossy. Do not act like you have an agenda. Do not look like there is only one answer. Refer to an authority. Bring in an authority. Blame an authority, but do not be an authority. On these next two slides, I have shown you examples of articles that you can use or look for to start a conversation. More elderly Americans dying from falls. Has your loved one recently fallen? Have there been multiple falls in the past few months? Has EMS been to the home so many times that you were on a first-name basis with them? And another good article, The Health Effects of Social Isolation. Research shows that social isolation, no matter how historically unsocial you may be, is as unhealthy as smoking 1 pack of cigarettes a day. Remember that social doesn't necessarily mean that you play all the reindeer games. It may mean that you are sitting in the lobby reading the newspaper every day, but you are able to watch the people and feel their interactions. Write a script. Stick to the script. Remember that you have done the homework. Be prepared for the hand grenades that will take you off script. Be understanding. Tell them you hear them. Come back to the script. This sample is an excerpt of an actual script that my team wrote for a family. It takes into account the planning and strategizing that the leader of the family worked on. It speaks about the challenges. Each paragraph was really used as a smaller conversation. Each time the mother and daughter had a chance to talk, the daughter would remind the mother about the earlier discussion and the things that they had agreed to, and then went to the next point. She did not rehash the earlier discussion, nor did she rush through the points. She was silent and listened when the mother wanted to move off track, and then would gently return to the point. She kept the written script with her to be able to access at any time, on the phone, at lunch, in a more formal setting. Remember, You need to be prepared for the hand grenades. Next, we will briefly discuss special situations, namely dementia. This case study looks at one of those situations. John and Mary were both 85 years old. John had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's at 80 and used a walker. Mary was very independent and was the primary caregiver for John. She used a variety of resources to make sure John was well cared for when she went out to her events with her friends. Their 2 adult children lived about 100 miles away and visited their parents often. However, their children each had full-time careers and their own families that created many responsibilities. One night, Mary suddenly died in her sleep. There was really no one to care for or manage the care for John. Everyone was in mourning over the loss of Mary, the mother and wife. Everyone was also at a loss over the loss of Mary, the caregiver. John asked repeatedly when Mary would come home. Even when dealing with early or advanced cases of dementia, you should still go through all of the steps and have the conversation. However, due to the nature of the disease, the loved one may not comprehend and may stay in the loop of no, no, no. In some cases, for the safety and well-being of your loved one, you may have to move on to therapeutic fibbing. Your goal is to make sure that they are in a safe place and that there is not a fire or a car wreck or a tragedy that could harm them and innocent bystanders. At this point, you can tell a story about why and how they will be moving. The home needs some major repair that requires them to be out of the way. You or a caregiver is going on vacation and they will need to go stay for a while at a place that can care for them. This method is the kindest way to provide safety. This is also a great time to use experts that can either propose this solution or agree with you and support you. So, what's next? I always like to ask the question, how do you eat an elephant? The answer? One bite at a time. There are really 3 buckets in this process during and after the conversation. Where will your loved one go? Will it be to stay at home or move to assisted living? If moving, where is the right place? When will they move or start home care? Is it immediately? Is it after a certain event, such as selling the home or moving to another city? Please try to make sure that the when is not when there is a crisis. And how will the change take place? And how will it all work? Is it about money? Is it about hiring a helper? Is it about finding a way to clean out the house? After a transition period, I cannot remember a time that I had a client tell me that they can't believe they made this change, either moving or bringing in help. More often, I hear these actual statements, and no, I did not make these up. My favorite is at the top. It took a team of Clydesdale horses to drag me here. I wish someone had brought those horses to my house months ago. Remember, dealing with a stubborn parent is not the same as dealing with a stubborn child. Remember to strategize with others. If it isn't working, change tactics or change messengers. You may have to draw a hard line and not offer help so that they see how much help they do need and that you may not be able to be there every time. Review the steps, follow the process. It may seem onerous, but your conversations will be much more productive if you can stay calm and focused. Do your homework. Homework helps. Thank you so much for your time and attention. I would like to remind you about the way I can help families navigate this maze. I am a part of a nationwide network of professionals that work with older individuals and their friends and families. While I focus on New York City and Southwest Florida, I can help your family in any state and Canada. I have the manpower and the ability to help with placement assistance, elder care consulting, family coaching, advocacy, and building a team to allow for aging at home. I know that you took away at least one piece of information, and I wish you luck. I hope you have found this helpful and informative. Again, feel free to email or call me for any information or questions. Stay healthy and focus on the possibilities. Thank you.